Hey,
Hey, happy Saturday out there in YouTube land.
last Saturday of July.
It is. It is the last Saturday in July. Next Saturday is
Summer
August
is.
1st. Stop.
It is.
Stop. Anyways, welcome. We're going to wait for those of you watching the recorded. We're going to wait to see if there's anyone that's going to join us live today. It is the last Saturday of July, and I do not want summer to end.
I imagine a lot of people want summer to keep going because it's nice out there. People are at the beach. People are out walking on the rail trail.
You're going to list off all the things that people do outside.
Well, I saw them today when I was out running an errand. So I saw folks out and about on this nice day.
It is. It is a nice day. It's warm. I don't mind. It's all good. It's all good. Let's see who's here. Hey, Ellen, happy Saturday again. We're going to wait for a couple more people to join us. So it is Saturday. I hope wherever you are, you're being safe and healthy and you're enjoying the weekend. I know it's getting scary out there in certain parts of the country. So we're gonna hope everyone's being well and safe. Hey, Letitia. Hi from Austin. Hi, Letitia. Austin. I was in Austin in February for QuiltCon teaching, and that seems like forever ago. I hope you're safe and doing well down there in Austin. I know things are a bit scary down there right now. Austin is an awesome city. Remember I went by myself this time because I was teaching, but remember we went down there, gosh, it must have been like 2008, 2009.
It was when we were still with the museum. And I remember doing touristy things while you were busy. I went to the State House over there.
Yeah, it's a great city with so much good food there.
The Bat Bridge.
The Bat Bridge. Yeah, we did all the touristy things. We went to the LBJ Museum. Was that the? No, the the Presidential Library that's there. So, Letitia, you're safe and you remember me. Yay. Excellent. Excellent. So we'll get started. It's a couple of minutes after 12. Excuse me. For those of you who may be new or watch the replay and are like, what is this all about? What are these people just blabbering on? My name is Sherry Sapaldi Moral. I am mostly the big part of Whole Circle Studio is my business. I'm a designer, an independent quilt pattern publisher, a professional quilter, and also an educator. And this is my husband, Jason, who's the other part of Whole Circle Studio, who does a lot of the behind the scenes work and all that good stuff. And so we are here live every Saturday, almost every Saturday. We'll talk to you about that in a minute. Here at noon Eastern time on this YouTube channel, just chatting about what's going on in the studio, what we're working on, and interacting with all of you. So thank you for being here. Hey, Jenny. Yes, Austin was fun. Yeah, we had a great time down there. Like I said, February seems like an eternity ago. I'm so grateful that that I was down there and I saw all my quilty friends from all around the world. So, so this week, okay, so first of all, we are going to apologize for not being here last Saturday. Unfortunately, if you were here, there's no way to notify you when we can't get out on YouTube. So we had every intention. There was a few things going on last Saturday. Actually, one big thing is I was teaching with the Brandywine Quilt Guild last Saturday. And before anyone gets worried, I did not leave the house. We did it all through Zoom. We had a full day walking foot class that I was teaching, and it was so cool. So we're going to talk about that today of how, because some of you may be like, how does that work? How do you teach? How do you do all of it over Zoom? And what is that like? So we're going to talk about that today. So we had every intention. I was sort of on a little break at around noon. We had planned it.
And I was prepping.
Yeah, so I was using my computer that we usually use YouTube for the class, so I couldn't log off. And Jason, being the amazing husband and also business partner, was like, okay, I'll be ready with my laptop and we'll show a little bit of behind the scenes. And I'm like, awesome, that'll be really, really cool.
It would have been.
And then we had some the IT guy had some technical difficulties.
My computer and Chrome refused to agree with YouTube. It just would not go live on YouTube.
Yeah.
I struggled with it. I updated all the software. It didn't work. I ended up, after the fact, after we decided that we just couldn't get it together fast enough, that I had to get a different browser.
Lots of complications, probably more than you need to know. But we had every intention unfortunately, just with YouTube and right now with the level that I'm at with YouTube, we can't do it on our phones or our iPads. So that's why if you're watching this, please subscribe, because once I hit 1,000, we won't have those issues.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we were not here last Saturday, but we are here this Saturday, and we will be here every Saturday as long as technology cooperates. Right.
Yes.
So anyway, so we're here. So this week, let's talk about this week and maybe a little bit of last week. So last week was a busy week. I was working 2 days with the Brandywine Valley Quilters in Pennsylvania. I had met one of the guild members when I was teaching last summer at the Mid-Appalachian Quilters. A student took a class with me, and we've been talking about me coming to her guild, and what better time than in a pandemic? So again, did not travel.
It is bad timing on that, but
no, but good timing. So last week we did 2 things. One was last Tuesday night. Yeah, I think it was Tuesday night. I did one of my live virtual presentation trunk shows with their guild. I think we had about 60 or 70 of their members.
It was just under 60. I think I got like 58, 59.
Yeah. Jason was behind the scenes helping with tech, which things went really well. For those of you who are not familiar, maybe I don't know if your guild is doing virtual programming, but a lot of teachers are doing it through Zoom. It's again, it's really, I would love nothing more than to be in the same room as quilters. That's something I really, really love. But this is the next best thing. And there's also some advantages. So for the trunk show presentation, it's the same presentation, like concept, content, and quilts, approaching quilting as a graphic designer presentation that I give. So typically I'm up front, speaking, holding up quilts. I have guild members holding up quilts. So that, you can do that through Zoom. It's a little bit trickier. So one of the things that I do is I actually have high-res images of all of my quilts, details, and full shots. And so I share my screen, kind of go back and forth where people can see me, people can see the quilts, and they can see the great detail, which is something you can't do if you're in an enormous or even a room with 50 other people seeing them up close, of course, after the presentation. But you get to see them in real time.
And the bonus, at least on the iPad or iPhone, is if you're using Zoom, you can actually pinch Zoom.
Oh, we get
so not only can you get the detail that you're showing, you can get the extra close detail, because you can zoom in even closer and get the you can see the stitches super close.
Yeah, and ask questions. We always do Q&A. People can ask questions in the chat, or if they're comfortable at the end, we unmute people and they can ask questions. So that's been a great way to connect with guilds. We've been having a lot of fun with that. So I have not taken it down. This is sort of what we call, our photo studio room in our house.
/ guest room when we have.
Yeah, there's a Murphy bed behind this quilt. So we do the presentations down in this room, and the quilt behind me is still hanging. I usually pick a different quilt for the presentation, and the quilt you see behind us, I don't know if I've shown it before on the live, but it's citrus slices. It's a foundation paper piecing, one of my foundation paper piecing patterns. So that happened last week. It was a lot of fun. They asked lots of great questions. I do a little giveaway, all sorts of good things. Make it as fun as possible. And then Saturday, I taught with the Brandywine Valley Quilters an all-day class. And
10 to 4.
10 to 4. That was my first all-day class that I taught virtually. It's always been in person. It was called Talk the Walk, and it is a walking foot quilting class. And it was a class that I talk about how I go about developing a quilting plan. I have sort of 7 strategies for once I'm ready to quilt, how I go about deciding how to quilt. And then I give all my tips and tricks for walking foot, getting set up, and all the little marking things and answer questions. And that was so much fun. So I will completely admit, the first time you do anything in a new setting, you get a little nervous. I prepared a lot.
You did great.
I did. I think I did. The guild had a great time. Technology went well. There's definitely some benefits. Again, would love to be in person, but there's some things that actually work better virtually.
Like when you were sharing your screen and showing them illustration type things
Yeah.
over their work so they could get ideas.
Yeah, so that's one of them. So part of that class that I do is students are invited to bring a quilt top for part of the class, a quilt top that they have no idea how to quilt. Some people have had these quilt tops for like 10, 15 years, some are newer. And we'll typically in the afternoon apply the strategies that I talked about and kind of talk about as a group how maybe you could quilt it, lots of options. So typically we'll talk about it in class and maybe even put out tracing paper and doodle over. So this time I had students email me the photos ahead of time and I brought them up and I shared my screen and I was able to doodle over it in Photoshop of some ideas. And students then again, because it was Zoom, I could see them, I could hear them. We kind of as a group talked about it. I gave some ideas and then after the class, everyone got an email with those doodles.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't happen in person. The other thing is no one had to schlep their heavy machines.
Oh, yeah.
Which was great.
If they needed a bathroom break, it was right there. If they needed
well, usually we have
orange juice from the fridge, they could get up and get orange juice from the fridge.
Yeah. Well, but even better.
Some of the conveniences of being at home.
Yeah. Even better is you're in your own space. Like usually like when you're teaching, you're in like wonky chairs and the height of your table is it's whatever is like at the church.
And if you forgot your favorite pair of scissors.
Yeah. Yeah. So
now you're in your space.
You're in your space. It's comfortable. And that was really, really awesome. And then just like I do in person, I was able to walk in questions around the classroom. I could see people through Zoom. If they were having a hard time with their laptop or tablet, we can have them call into the Zoom meeting with their phone, and that way they can do close-ups of their quilting.
Yep.
But yeah, the guild members really loved it. We had 15 students, and they had awesome things to say. And even this week they were working on smaller minis for the class, and I got some great photos of some of the quilting that people finished up this week.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that is going really, really, really well. Like I said, it's kind of making lemonades from the COVID lemon.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there's definite benefits. And I've been talking with a lot of guilds around the world. So if you're in a guild and you're interested, reach out. I have lots of different classes. And again, that said, I'm looking forward to when travel and being close to 6 feet away. The other thing that's interesting with the quilting class is, if I'm demonstrating in an actual space, I'm quilting, I can see students are often around me, but they can't see like exactly what I'm seeing.
Oh, when they're observing you doing a demo?
Yeah. So what I did last week before the class was I filmed, literally set up with a camera. In fact, I had to move my head.
It was super close up.
The camera had a better view than I did.
Yeah.
But I was able to videotape and then share my screen and bring those videos up. So the videos didn't have any audio, but as I was showing students these quick little videos of the demonstrations, I could talk over them and play them over and over and pause. And literally students could see what I'm seeing, which they can't do when I'm in class. Like I invite people to get in close, but no matter how close.
Yeah, they can't be their head in front of you.
Right, they can't be where I am. So that was really, really cool. And again, all these sort of adapting, as we all are, in all different ways, quilting and otherwise. But it was a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. It went by really fast.
Yeah, it's a good success.
Yeah, it went really, really fast.
And there's some more coming up, I think.
Yeah. We have presentation in August and a whole bunch in September. So I'm really excited about that. And, each one I learn a little bit more. I always learn from students too. But yeah, I'm super excited. And what never happens is you get to see people's pets sometimes. So a few students had cats kind of come in. Casey never made an appearance on video, but I could hear her jangling a little bit in the background. So we keep that to the minimum. But it's sort of, it's also really cool to see where everyone is sewing. Now I think we're all sort of naturally curious about what other people's sewing and quilting spaces look like in workshops. So I get to see students, or at least what they want to show clearly, but I'm also able to show where I sew and my setup. And that was something else that I did. Was I know it's oftentimes, especially with we're talking about walking foot quilting specifically, but people have lots of questions about like, how is my machine set up and how do you get those big quilts through? And I was actually able to show it in my setting versus a classroom, which is a little bit more artificial than, you know, how you actually do things. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Let me see. There was a comment. Hi all. Hi mom. Mom's talking, and Jenny said, so glad it went well. And you need to add a class on doing matching binding. Yeah, that might be in the plan, Jenny. So that's a little trickier to teach binding. One thing I've been thinking a lot about is how do I could teach matching binding, but also almost a practice that students need, like a quilt top. So, you know, that you can practice that matching binding. I mean, you can kind of say, oh yeah, my red starts here, my orange, but it always is best. So that's something I've been thinking about too, sort of quilt tops that kind of have all those little sort of a tester that I can then offer to other students. But yeah, so yeah, that would actually be that's a good idea. And that might actually work better virtually than in person, but we'll see. So that's what we've been up to. A lot of that kind of, you know, getting all of the virtual and live online really sort of moving along. And yeah, I've also been working on new quilt pattern designs and some new classes for the general quilting community. And that I'll be able to make some more announcements about in August, and new patterns later this year and early next year. But there's really reserving July and August for design mode. And there's some things that I'm super excited about.
We'll learn more.
We'll learn more
in August.
The royal we. I'll be learning more in August too. So we'll all be learning more. So yeah, and then just trying to enjoy the summer. So what are you all working on? What's happening out there? We'd love to hear. You guys quilting, doing handwork, taking the summer off from quilting. I know sometimes it's a little bit, if you don't have air conditioning, it's hot sometimes to work on quilts.
Yeah.
So what else has been happening? Can you think of anything else new? I think that's the big stuff.
I'm going to replace the storm door, maybe.
Okay. This is the portion where we're off of quilting.
And onto what's going on out in the garage.
And onto what Jason is super interested. Not that Jason's not interested in quilts, but believe it or not, there's other things that he's more interested in.
It's an old wooden storm door. I mean, it belongs in our old 1800s house.
It does. And it's kind of embarrassing, the condition that our
crappy aluminum door is,
which it's in really bad condition. So
I'm going to make it better.
Yeah. So, well, that is all for this week. Next week, we're going to experiment with something new this next week. Please join in. If we are
it should go better than last week.
If we're not live, though, it just means our experiment just didn't go so well. But yeah, so we're hoping to do a little bit of an experiment next week. So one more comment.
Oh, Jenny's doing some masks.
Oh, Jenny's making some more masks. Yeah, that's important. Lots of masks making. So yeah, so we hope that you all have a great weekend. If you are watching this either live or the recording and you have not subscribed yet to the channels, please do so. That way, if we have technical issues, we have other devices we can log into once we hit 1,000 subscribers. One other comment came in. Megan, hi from Canada. You've been making masks out of your scraps and dreaming about my next project. Great. That's important. Yeah. Dreaming and designing and thinking and sketching and doodling and trying things out is really important. And it's for us all to be doing. So, good. So we will see you if technology works next Saturday. If not, we'll see you the following Saturday. But I'm pretty confident we'll get it to work next week.
I think so.
Okay, good. Well, have an awesome weekend. Stay healthy, be safe. And try to do some quilting or sewing or just something fun this weekend. We'll see you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.